I've had a perfect 999 credit score multiple times, and here is proof it's much more simple than you think. I'll be going through whether a credit score really matters. What are the benefits of a higher credit score? How to understand your credit score? How to check and monitor your credit? Steps to easily improve your credit fast. Myths and mistakes to avoid. Long-term habits and credit strategies. Average credit scores. And finally, some recommendations for credit cards for people that have never had a credit card before. So, does a good credit score really matter? With gurus online claiming both yes and no, who should we be listening to? Well, unless your pockets are as deep as the ocean, we all need a credit score. The only use for my credit will be a mortgage in the future. With a better credit score, I'll be able to get more favourable rates, saving me thousands in the long run. Although it will help you also if you're looking to get a brand new car. Financing a car will be a terrible financial decision. Understanding credit score. There are usually 5 main factors that determine your credit score. I'll go through them in order, from least to most effect on your credit. So there's 2 at the bottom at 10% weight each. The first one is new applications, so hard searches. This could be you trying to get too many credit applications done in a short time, which can quite actually drastically change your credit score very quickly. Although, in the long run, it corrects itself. The types of credit you have at the moment, credit cards, loans, mortgages, etc. If you've got lots of types of credit, it can affect you. At 15%, we've got the length of your credit history. So if you've got older accounts, you've got more data, which means a better score. So in short, don't close your long-standing cards. That's debit and credit. Next at 30%, so we've got a bit of a jump there, is credit utilisation, which is the percentage of your credit limit used. You never really want to go above that 10%. So if you see yourself using more than that consistently, think about potentially using them purchases on a debit card or increase your credit limit. But make sure you're also using at least 1%. Finally, the most weight is 35%, which is payment history. So you're paying bills, you're paying your credit cards, your loans, everything off on time, no missed or late payments. They can hurt your account massively. There's potential changing in how score models work in 2025 because of how people rent loads more and because of buy now pay later. And even subscriptions might be reported due to the massive influx of them happening recently. Another tip is just being on the electoral register. This might sound insufficient, but it's an easy way to raise your credit score without having to do anything. And the longer you're on it, the more points you get. How to check and monitor your credit. This might seem simple to me because I've been doing it for ages, but I use just 2 apps on my phone, and they are Credit Karma and Experian. For me, Credit Karma is a must. It's free and it gives you lots of in-depth insights to what you need to do to improve your credit score. Plus, Credit Karma also puts you in a free prize draw every month, and you could potentially win £5,000 for free. The reason I use Credit Karma and Experian is that they give you 2 different monitoring perspectives. Credit Karma uses the TransUnion, while Experian, it's just Experian. Monitoring a wide range of reports allows you to have the best results for the future. You do also have the ability to pay for a subscription on Experian, which I don't currently do and haven't before, so I don't have a great opinion on it. I don't know what it's like, but I know it will unlock a lot of features, so it might be worthwhile looking into that if you like. Having these apps also allows you to remotely monitor if you had your identity frauded, saving you from getting caught up in a very stressful situation. So, how can you improve your credit fast? It is actually fairly simple. There's a few steps. Make sure you always pay on time. You can automate this process so you don't even have to think about it. Make sure you utilise only between 1 and 10% of your credit limit, and where possible, increase your credit limit up to £15,000. But only if you can trust yourself that you're not going to go mental tapping away. Don't close your old accounts. The average age of all your accounts is what matters, so make sure you don't close your oldest accounts. You can use tools like Experian Boost, which can boost your score without any effort at all. Another way you can do it fairly simply if you've got really poor credit, or even if you've got slightly good credit, you can add yourself as an authorised user on someone else's card who has better credit than you. This will raise yours and you don't even have to use the card. They just have to trust you won't go mental. And while using the apps, it gives you the ability to settle or dispute things you don't recognise. What are a few myths? Here are 3 myths that are quite common. So does checking your credit score actually hurt your score? No, it doesn't. They're soft inquiries, they don't stay anywhere. Do you need to carry a balance on your credit card to build credit? No. Just need to utilise the card You can pay it off as quick as you like. In some places, you don't even have to use a card. Does closing your credit card help your score rise? No, it just hurts it. Like I said, the average age of your account does affect it. So what are a few long-term habits and credit strategies you should be utilising? So you should treat your credit as a financial tool, not just a score. Build good habits. Pay early, review your statements, stay under 10%. Simple. Build a plan of how you want to build your credit. Use the apps, see what you need to work on, and write it down. The best thing you can do is write it down, because then you'll work on it. And if you don't have a credit card at the minute, the best thing I can tell you to do is get whatever credit limit you can get. And that doesn't mean get a huge one, just it might even be £500. Get it, put a subscription on it, and cut the card up. Let that get paid off automatically, and you won't have to think about it. That doesn't mean get a whole new subscription. Put one of your existing ones on there. So what is the average credit score? Because of Experian, Equifax and the TransUnion, it's quite hard to identify the average credit score across the UK, but here are some figures I've found. So with the Experian score, you can go from 0 to 999, the higher number being the better. And with the average being 797, with their rating of fair to good. Next is Equifax. It goes to 0 to 1,000, and their average being between 600 to 620, with a good rating. Finally, it's the TransUnion. It's 0 to 710, with their average being between 110 and 130, and their rating being good. You can see how that might get confusing, with TransUnion having a lower top rating, but their average is higher. So you can see quite quickly they all go differently. So that's why it's worthwhile using all three if you can, or just like the two I use with Experian and Credit Karma for the TransUnion. Looking at a few maps, credit scores vary by location, and you could probably guess where it's higher and lower. Higher scores tend to be in the southeast and the southwest of England, with lower scores more common in parts of northern England, Scotland and Northern Ireland. Finally, some recommended cards for people that are new to credit cards. I started my credit building journey completely by accident, but I opened a PayPal credit account when I was checking out for something online, without even knowing, and that helped me by getting me a line of credit. I only realised I opened up a line of credit with PayPal once I opened up my Credit Karma account and it was just on there. For your first card, it doesn't really matter what it is, but make sure to read the full agreement, as they all work slightly differently, with some putting interest on weekly and some monthly. So you don't want to be paying the extra couple of pound a week when you could have just paid it off in one go, instead of waiting to the end of the month. My first actual credit card was with Aqua, with a credit limit of £750. After a couple of months I quite quickly moved to the Amex Platinum. It was easy to get, and it was a great sign-up bonus. It didn't even cost me a penny. For the first, I believe it was 3 to 6 months, I got 5% cash back, which was very, very helpful, as I had some big purchases at the time. And now the credit card that I utilise is the Amex BA for the Avios points, as the points are worth slightly more than the cash back. Although, you got to be aware, some places don't take Amex. That is just because their fees are slightly higher when they go through a card machine. But it does come in handy, with many benefits on the app, and access to lounges in airports. So just to recap, don't go mental tapping it because you think you've got a load of money and that you've just got access to. It's not. You have to pay it off, and you don't want to get stuck paying the APR. Especially with Amex, it can be over 100% very easily. Make sure you monitor the apps to make sure no one's frauded you, and so you can see what factors need to be sorted. I'm going to encourage you guys to comment what your credit goals are and why you want your score better. Click the video on screen to see my realistic portfolio, and don't forget, subscribe for more financial tips.